What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode in Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Yes, we're still on the Taxi DLC. This is Taxi number 3, the Sakura Tiara, which I will struggle to say because I don't speak any language other than English, and I even struggle with that one sometimes. So there we go. But anyway, let's crack on with this. This is the Sakura Tiara from the Taxi DLC. If we jump in, again, it's got two configs, one standard version, as you can see, without the taxi sign, and one version with the taxi sign pre-built on. I do believe they're available everywhere, so you can get this one wherever you want. Ours is feeling a little bit sorry for itself. We've definitely had worse, but we've definitely had considerably better as well. The engine in this one is the i6 double overhead cam, pumping out 158 factory horsepower. Not too shabby, not quite as high as the Bolt Escapade, which was a 187 from factory, which managed to do a 135 469 around the track. So we've got to try and beat that today with the Sakura Tiara. With that i6, though, it might be a little bit hard. We still should be able to get some performance parts in there and squeeze a lot more power out of the missing i6, so we are going to have to go and buy a whole brand new one of them, as along with everything else in the engine bay and possibly most of the suspension. We're missing wheels and everything. Let's jump in and take a quick look. So if we just go like that, we can see we're missing the lower arms, bushings, sway bar end link, brake caliper, the wheel hub cap. Lots going on over there. On the other side, pretty much the same, but we've got the brake disc missing as well as the brake caliper and all the things like that. Obviously, the whole engine, everything from the engine bay. We've got radiator, wishy-washy coolant, brake servo, ABS pumper module, our fuse box, power steering, battery tray, and obviously that i6 engine. We're missing all of the exhaust down the back, fuel tank, fuel pump, rear drum brake setup, obviously the shock, or one of the shocks, the support arms, the U-bolts, pretty much all of the brake setup for this side, and more, well, just the one more rubber bushing down the back, but we're missing the flange. We do have the back case though, so there is a lot missing on this glorious little Sakura Tiara. But before we jump in fully, we need to see how much we paid for it, and did we get a good deal? No, but we only paid 5,460 for it, but we are losing out 386, should I say, before we begin. So we'll probably be able to claw most of that back later, and obviously attempt to sell this one on for some profit in the near future. Obviously, we won't be selling them yet. We'll be keeping all the taxis complete out the front while we're working on the rest of the taxis, as you know. So there we go. This is the Sakura Tiara. And I do just want to say, obviously, the Ferrari 458 that was outside is no longer outside. I've done the tallies, and it didn't make it onto the board. I'm going to go into photo mode just so we can go up in the air. It didn't make it into the board, which is a bit disappointed. It came... Where did it came? I can't remember. I think it was like 13th or 14th out of all the cars we've done in our show car board, which is a bit disappointed. But it did have a score of 9.46, which is very high. But we've got obviously high margins at the top end up here, so that's going to be quite hard to beat. But it did have 7 votes, and we've only had a couple of them so far. So that was definitely, in my opinion, worth it. So thank you to everyone who voted. Even if we didn't get it into the top 10, that doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. I still enjoyed building it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. But now we need to crack on with today's video, the Sakura Tiara Taxi. This is going to be fun. As you can see, there is a liveries on it. I don't know why we've got one red panel at the front there. Is that meant to be a red panel at the front? Is that the same on that side? It is the same on that side. Maybe that's the livery. I'm not sure. We'll check them all out later. I do like this one because it's Nihon Red Dot Group, which I like. I like that. I like the little added bits. I think it's pretty good. But there we go. This is what we're going to be working on today. Before we start, as always, we need to get this dirty little taxi all cleaned up. So let's get it into the car wash and let's get her clean. She is all clean, still in an absolutely terrible state nonetheless, but she is definitely clean. Now we need to sort out this engine. Obviously, it is entirely missing, so we're going to have to buy a brand new one, and it is the i6 double overhead cam. So let's go in and have a look. Thanks to TK Basics, I could buy crate engines, tuned or otherwise. That's the normal versions, that's the tuned versions, and then that's a parts kit, I believe, gives you everything you need, just not assembled. We're going to buy ours assembled in the tuned engines. So we want the i6, there it is, i6 double over cam, nice and simple, 12,837 to buy it tuned from the crate. We will take that If I could buy it, there we go. Thank you very much. Let's go grab the engine crane, and as we've got nothing in there at all, let's just slot it in for our first journey. Plus, that's going to help me buy the gearbox and starter I need to go with it. Makes my life a little bit easier. But there we go. The fully tuned i6 does sit nicely in there. That's pretty cool. I think that all looks pretty good. Obviously, we got the rest of the exhaust to sort out and things, but it is looking quite nice. Even in its plain colour scheme, I can't believe I put that crane away. What an idiot. I'm going to need that in a minute. Not quite right now. For the time being, let's pop it up in the air because I do want to add the gearbox to my shopping list just so that I don't forget it, so I know which one we're supposed to be using. Otherwise, I'll be buying the wrong one. There we go. The gearbox i4. Sounds wrong. Rear wheel drive. But there we go. That's the one we need in there. So we're going to pop you back down and just quickly shoehorn that engine out of there because we don't need it in anymore. As good looking as it is. Out you come. And there we go. We've already checked out the rest of the engine and the suspension, or the engine bay and the suspension, knowing we need to buy a lot to get all of this back together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crack on with that, get all of this stripped down, repaired, replaced, ready to go back together. And when we come back, it'll be time to take on the Sakura Tiara's beautiful bodywork before we take this one into the paint booth and check out the available liveries for this beautiful car. That's everything mechanical, repaired, replaced, or upgraded, ready to go back on our Tiara taxi. But before we get there, we need to sort this bodywork out. So let's start stripping it all down. Oh, is that just the body? I see. I thought that was a fender I needed to take off. Look how close it is. That looks, yeah, anyway, so off with the hood. Headlight on there. We've got a front bumper and a license plate. The grille isn't the grille. That is a fender on that side for definite. Oh, I see it's red underneath the frame. That makes more sense, not a red fender. That makes a bit more sense than what I was thinking at the beginning. But anyway, off with the doors. No smoking sign on the back there. No rear body window. Do have a trunk and a license plate, plus a tail light. No rear window, no door on that side, but we do have a door there. And obviously, I don't know why I tried to change mode. I thought it was a bonus part. And there we go. So that should be all of our bodywork off. That looks to be it. We can't change the frame. That's because the interior is still in. So we'll get this interior out. What are we using for this? This is the Bandit seats. So there we go. We'll have a look. In fact, I want to go in now and see what the steering wheel is supposed to be. The Tiara, it is a new steering wheel and it is the Cape bench. So there we go. So we're using Bandit seats, Cape bench, and a new steering wheel for this one. So there we go. Is that now everything off? It is letting us swap the frame. Its body's at 1%, interior's at 20%, but there should be, wrong screen, nothing left on there at all. Frame's at 24%. We bought the car for a little under 5,500. I've got all of these wrong so far. I'm going to say 750. 1450. Still can't get it right, but there we go. Let's jump in. Not the parts shop. I want to have a look at the bodywork station. There's no tuning parts for any of these apart from the La Croix Marseille. So let's go back. Bodywork tuning bodywork station, Sakura Tiara, and everything I believe should just be like for like, 2 pages. It doesn't look like we've got any repeats of anything in here. Nice and simple. Although the headlights and taillights, I do feel like the images are the wrong way round. I think they might be slightly backwards, but there we go. Along with the doors, actually. I mean, I like seeing the interior panels of the door when you've got multiple, when you see what the difference is. But for normal style, probably, I mean, even the trunks, the underside of the trunk is the underside of the fender. Okay. We're having a bit of a laugh now. Yes, I've just noticed it's all like the under. I imagine that's the backside of the front bumper as well. It's the underside of the trunk. I'm sorry, I find that quite amusing. The rear bumper, probably the backside as well. But there we go. Everything is just like for like, even if it is reversed inside the shop. I quite like that with the red at the front and the black everywhere else. Because even like, yeah, I mean, maybe that's what we'll go for if that's an actual option. We shall find out in the paint shop in just a little while, but for the moment I'm going to go repair the body panels I can repair. We'll buy what we need to buy, get this beautiful Sakura Tiara all back together, and then it's into the paint booth. Let's get our little princess taxi or the Tiara all back together then, ready for the paint shop. I'm still really liking this red front end with a black back. Maybe I'll try this livery on something else if we can't get it to work today. On with our rearward facing fender, obviously the repaired hood, repaired front bumper, and some shiny new reversed headlights. On you go. Lovely new wing mirror on there, and then we've got a repaired fender on this side. It officially thinks it's red, which is why I think that's part of the livery. On obviously a repaired mirror there. We've got a blank license plate at the front and a brand new windshield, repaired door, new door, and obviously all new windows, because you can't repair glass. I do think it's something that should be an option for low, but you know, something that's like, I don't know, say 75% above. Maybe you should be able to repair the glass, because you can sort of repair glass. So maybe in the next game, who knows? We'll find out when it eventually comes out. But anyway, on with the rest of this. Trunk, bumper, and obviously our tail lights and the rear window on there, and a blank license plate for the time being. Obviously rear door and front left door was all new for this side. New windows, the works. There we go. That's all the, not almost all the bodywork. Then we've got the taxi sign, like the most important thing that makes this stand out as a taxi. I nearly forgot it for the taxi DLC, but there we go. Now let's get on and get this interior in. As I said, we've got the bench for the cape at the rear and the seats for the bandit at the front. I do think they sort of work together. We'll again try and put textures on them, maybe some colours later on, see how that all works out. As for the steering wheel, now I said this in the very first episode, this is a weird, bizarre colour / texture compared to everything else inside this car. If we just go and take a seat inside, look how much lighter that steering wheel is. I think that's a mistake. I'm not 100%, but I think that shouldn't be like that. I think it's meant to be the same grey as everything else, and it may have came out wrong. But I do like this curved dash. I think it looks fantastic, even if you can't fully see your rev counter. But it is what it is. But there we go. Let's double check, and we got this all back together. 100%, 100%, 100%. That's what we like to see. Let's get the Sakura Tiara into the paint shop, check out the liveries, and decide what colours we're going to go for. In the paint shop then with the Sakura Tiara, I do quite like it in red and black. I think it looks quite nice. So let's check out the factory colours. We've got a solid white, a solid black. Look at the texture on that. That looks like it's been sprayed with that bed liner stuff. Anyway, never mind. Then we've got a lovely matte black. I do always like a matte colour. A solid yellow, a metallic green, a solid orange, a solid blue, or a metallic red. I am sort of quite liking that metallic red, but I don't think it's what we're going to finish up with. Purely because, let's check out the liveries and see what options we have available. Slot number 1 is this one here, which is the Nihon Red Dot Group. I'm sure I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but there we go. Which is realistically just a plain black livery. Can I change the finish? I can. So we can have it in whatever finish we want. A little bit of yellow text that sort of closely resembles the taxi sign in there. And then whatever colour we paint the body is what colour the engine bay and front will go. So that does work with the red and black, but it's just a black car, in my opinion, with a little bit of text. Maybe a little bit boring. So let's have a look. We do have a red and white in the matte. Looks very nice, actually. And obviously, the engine bay will go whatever colour we paint the base. So if I move the base around, as you can see, it's now in a green. But the car itself is still red and white. We're not obviously going to go with the green engine bay. That was just to show you. Next slot is a green and white livery. Maybe that's why I subconsciously picked the green for the engine bay. But a lovely green and white on there. That's not too bad, but I'm definitely feeling a red and some colour on this one. So what have we got next? Oh, is this... Oh, see, then I could pick whatever base colour I want. I always thought this was just a second red one because obviously the game defaults you to red. So that's interesting. So we could actually go for a red and white, but pick our own colour red and just keep the white on the roof. That's quite cool. Now I might have changed my mind. Obviously, we could go for a yellow, but I'm not going to do that. I think a green's a little bit too much. Maybe we could go for a light blue on there. Is that a bit wild? I do think I prefer the red, but let's just keep having a look around. We could go for a pink / purple taxi or a pink taxi. There we go. That's more in the pink colour. That looks quite good in the pink and white, I'm not going to lie. And then obviously we're back to the red on the far end. But I do quite like the red. Do we have any more liveries? Oh, we do. We have a yellow and red livery. Again, I don't want loads of yellow taxis. I know we haven't technically done any yellow taxis so far, so there we go. But I know one of them is at least going to be yellow. So I don't want to have a collection of yellow taxis. So we're probably not going to go yellow, and that is all of them. I'm thinking either this one here, which is the predetermined red, but obviously then I've got to match the red, or we just go over to here. Maybe not in the matte. Is a pearl too much? What if we went a chameleon taxi? Matte chameleon? No. Okay, fair enough. Gloss. I mean, I could still adjust the red, couldn't I? I could make the red whatever I want. I do quite like it a bit darker. Definitely don't like solid. The metallic is a fine option, but it makes the roof go silver, and I don't like that. So pearl, it probably is then. That gives us enough shine on the paintwork to make it look good, but still keeps this roof part white. And obviously then we get the matching red engine bay. Do I want the matching red engine bay? That is the question. So maybe we go for like a 75 red on here. I'm going to keep the matching red engine bay. Why not? We'll keep the white cover and we'll try and incorporate that into a livery. I like the two-tone. It is definitely playing on me. But do we adjust this red? I don't want to bring it down, so we go full vibrant red, 100% on there. And I think the 75, if we bring it up, it's too bright. If we take it down, I suppose we could go down a bit further. Like the 50, I mean, it just now looks metallic, but that's fine because the roof stays white. Is that too dark? I think that might be too dark. So let's bring it up a bit. I think we go with the 75. He says, now I think that's too bright. I think we're going to go with the 100 saturation, 70 brightness on there for the bodywork. I think that looks quite good. Screws and bolts. Do we just go for the same again? We'll try the same again. I forgot what it was. It was 170, wasn't it? Not 190. 170. We'll get them matching. We'll check out how that looks in a minute if we can. Let's go back onto here. Are we happy with that colour? I think so. Colour and livery chosen for the Sakura Tiara. I do quite like it in the red and white. And obviously you got then these plastic trim and bumper parts, which adds us in a splash of black or blackish. Could go with our tubs and things like that. I'm liking it. I think it looks pretty good. Now, let's check out how red these bolts went. We do have an ABS pump. That's what I always like to see. I am going to fully pit the module on. That looks very, very dark. I feel like I might have to change that. So let's just go into photo mode and see if we can get a place where it's the bodywork and the bolts. I think they're a bit dark, aren't they? Yes, they are a bit too dark, even compared to the bodywork. So I'm going to turn the brightness up on them bolts very quickly. Let's jump in there and check how to do that. So we go into here. I want to bring that up. Let's say... Let's go 85 just to be on the safe side. We'll go back into here because I know that's not right. We want to put that back on pearl. And livery 4 is the one we've chosen. So let's reapply paint on there again, costing us even more money for the painting. And quickly go back in and see what colour those bolts have turned out now. That's a bit brighter. I didn't want to be there though. I wanted to be in photo mode. In we go. Too far. It's still a bit dark, isn't it? Maybe we go up again. No, I think that'll be all right. I think it's just because we're in a little dark corner. Once we've got everything on, it should look all right. We probably could go a little bit lighter, but I think we're going to leave them at that. Am I? It is incredibly dark. What if I throw the torch on it from, like, back here? How does that look? Let's go back in. See, now they look a lot brighter there. A lot brighter. I think that's what we're going to go with. It's probably now a bit brighter than the bodywork with the torch on, but that'll be a happy medium for us to work with. So there we go. Let's get you back off because that's definitely not the colour you're going to be staying. Off you come as well. And then I need to start thinking about some stuff. Like, what are we going to do with the seats? I want to keep them black. I do want to keep them dark, but I do want to try and get... We'll see if we can get some red or white on there. We'll give that a go a bit later on. We might be able to. I'm so unsure about what to do with that steering wheel. I might just put a darker grey on it, see if we can blend it in with that dash a bit better. I think a black would be too much because the dash is very grey. So we'll give that a go, see how it turns out. Suspension... Do we have much chrome? We have a few bits of chrome. That's affixed to the body, isn't it? So I could change that, but that's part of the body, so I can't change that. Maybe we will do a full chrome underside, but maybe a white exhaust. Maybe some brushed aluminium. Oh, maybe we go for a bit of brushed aluminium instead of chrome on the... No, yes. We'll go for brushed aluminium on this one. We'll give it a go. I'm still not sure. I'm going to start painting it, and I'll decide in a minute. And you guys will see it all once we start getting it all back together. Once this beautiful Sakura is on the lift. I do quite like this square body car. I do think it's quite nice. I kind of want to do a custom one of these that isn't a taxi at some point in the near future. If you'd like to see that, do let me know in the comments. But now I'm going to focus my mind on getting all of this painted and hopefully looking fantastic. When we come back, we'll get it all back together, get it on the dyno, and get a couple of laps around the racetrack to try and beat the Bolt Escapade Mark IV. That's everything painted on the Sakura Tiara. looking absolutely fantastic in this red and white livery. I am definitely enjoying this one. You could probably see the interior there is definitely not as we left it. In fact, we got some red leather on it, both front and back. I think it's looking pretty good in there. And we also changed the colour of that steering wheel. I'm going to nip around to the other side so we can see it a little bit clearer. Obviously, it was almost white before, so I took a lot of that out of it and dimmed it down to a much more dashboard-friendly grey on there. So it looks like it matches in just a little bit better. I think this is a good-looking car. Let's check out inside the engine bay. Obviously, no engine at the moment. I like how the shocks poke up through here. I think that's a nice little feature. And everything in here, there's a wishy-washy reservoir just down there, is in sort of like this kind of grey down on the bumper there, just to sort of try and blend it in a little bit more. Even the fuse box, even the power steering reservoir down there, it's all coloured, apart from the radiator at the front, which is in a middle sort of grey-white. I was hoping to try and get it as white as I could, but it doesn't always work with the radiators. But there we go. It's all looking pretty nice in there. Onto the underside, I did decide to go with a lot of chrome in the end. We've got chrome cross members, chrome knuckle. We've got grey and chrome on this pit, bit of grey up here, grey on the shocks with red springs and a few more splashings of white and chrome. Brakes in white, hopefully looking fantastic when we put them wheels on a little bit later, and all our bushings in beautiful white with red bolts, all looking very nice. Down the back, obviously pretty much the same. You got your chrome running across the centre there, a few bits of splashes of red and a bit of that grey with some white brake drums on there for our drum brakes at the back. We'll see. Well, they might look a bit weird with the wheels on, but we'll find out in a bit. Obviously grey on the fuel tank and red on the fuel pump, and because it's a TK aftermarket rear end, we can do the back cover in a white just to give it a little bit more definition, just as I like it. We're not going to close that because we're going to need it in a second, but now let's go and build the beautiful i6 engine. There she is. She is looking pretty good. The block itself, it's got no colour on it at all. In fact, my oil filter's got no colour on it at all either. But I did do the oil pan in red on there, and the engine head in a sort of red and chrome mix. Mostly red visible, but there is a bit of chrome in there. This front timing cover's in the grey, and we chromed out this crankshaft pulley. It was written on the screen and I couldn't even read it. There we go. The alternator's also in its natural chrome, and we did a bit of chrome on the ignition distributor with a white cap and red clips on there. But let's get on and get some of the extra parts on. We got the head cover going on the top there in a beautiful red and white, so it sort of blends in with that engine head, but gives us a little bit of the white from the top of the car on the top of the engine, tying it all together because that's what we like to do here. Our ignition wires are in red, just to keep a bit of nice colour going up through there, looking very good. The fuel filter's also in red on this side, and we do have exhaust manifolds, but they go on inside the car. Carburetors, I haven't painted these at all because I couldn't get anything that looked good, and their natural was already in a chrome and red, so it looks pretty good on there. So we left them as they were. Get all three of them on. We've also got the air filter bits to go on top, the round air filters, which again I haven't painted because the chrome made the filter bits go chrome and the red made everything go to red, so we left them natural. Hopefully it won't make too much difference in some photos once it's inside the engine bay. But there we go, that's the i6 finish for the minute. Obviously still a little bit to go on there, but let's get it off the stand and let's get it dropped in the Sakura Tiara taxi. Looking fantastic. Let's go grab the engine crane. We need to get that engine dropped in. I do like this car. I didn't think I would, but the more I've been working on it, the more I have liked it. So there we go. Let's put the engine crane away and check out that engine in there. She is looking good. We can't put the exhaust manifolds on just yet, so let's get it up in the air and get some of the little bits done underneath that we got to do first. In we go. Starting with that lovely gearbox. On you go there, which is in red and chrome, looking very nice. I think it's pretty good. Bit in your face, but we kind of like it that way. So there we go. More drive shaft issues. I have let some of the devs know that this is an issue. Maybe they'll fix it. We shall find out. I know they are busy at working on the next installment of Car Mechanic Simulator, and this DLC was made by Petrod Games, I believe. They might have had a name change, but there we go. Drive shaft we've gone for today is a carbon fibre one in a red and white, and as you can see, it still doesn't quite perfectly line up. It was a little bit out at the back as well, but not too bad. Not as bad as it is at the front there. But it is what it is. We can gloss over that. Carrying on then, we got our front exhaust section in chrome with a splash of red on there. Now we can put our manifolds on. But we've got our cat delete pipe our resonator delete pipe, and then down at the back here we've got exhaust pipe C and our rear muffler B, all chromed out, looking very, very good on there. Let's just take a quick walk underneath because it does look pretty good. I do like all the chrome sticking through. The drive shaft sort of disappears into a central piece there, but it works, so it doesn't matter. It's all looking pretty good. Obviously, that's why I didn't pay any attention to it. Doesn't connect up there because you can't see it. So there we go. Back down you come, Sakura, and let's get your manifolds on and get this car all finished off, ready to go outside in the sun and then down the racetrack with a bit of dyno just in between as well for good measure. There we go, on with our exhaust manifolds, obviously chromed out the same as the rest of the exhaust, but the lovely red bolts just making it pop that little bit more. We like it. Let's get some wheels on then. The last few bits to go for this beautiful car. The wheels we've gone for today are definitely not the Rim Classic 02s. They are the Rim 204 from the Rims DLC. I've got to get this right. ET's at the front. So we've got ET of 10 at the front, and we've gone for massive 22-inch rims on these. 245 width at the front, which is this bit, and a 30 profile on here as well. On you go. Chrome and grey, these rims are. The grey cover will go on now. There we go, and there is a little bit of grey just around the rim there, but mostly in a chrome. Looking very good. On we go for the rears. That is this one. There is no ET. 22-inch, so still a massive rim. Slightly wider at 295 width, but still with a 30 profile. Absolutely ginormous wheels I've decided to do for this one. It looks pretty good though, I think. So let's crack on around and get the rest of these on, making sure we get the right one in the right place. On you go. Obviously we did the bolts red, and then it gets a cover on the top anyway, so it didn't matter. We didn't need to worry about that part, but I didn't know what rims I was going to pick at the time of painting the car and the rims. So there we go. All of the wheels on. We've literally just got some liquids to top up, get some plates changed, get this down the dyno. But before that, let's get it outside in the sun. There she is, all finished, looking pretty nice. Liquids are all topped up. There's just one thing left to go, and that is our finishing plates. Today I've gone for Princess, because this is the Sakura who's always wearing the tiara. There we go, definitely a princess for this taxi. Off you come, at rear license plate, and get our finishing plate on. There we go. Couple of attempts later, but she is now completed. Looking maybe a little bit silly with those giant wheels on, but still pretty cool nonetheless. I'm quite pleased with it. But let's jump inside, realizing it's from one of these countries with the right-hand drive. In we get. I do quite like the interior, even if the steering wheel was a bit weird. A little wood panel seems slightly out of place, but I do love the full curved dash that this thing's got. It looks very, very nice. But anyway, let's get it started up and see what this i6 sounds like. Whoop, 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 whoop. Nice little tick over there. Let's give it some gas. Still sounding pretty mean at the top end. Could definitely be better, but it is what it is. Let's get this beast onto the dyno, see what its horsepower is, what its drag rating will be, and then it's off for a few laps around the racetrack. Before we dyno the little princess, there's one thing I want to do, and I'm going to do it live with you right now, and that is tune, should I say, these carburetors. Now, the way I find it easiest to do is to get the two outside ones to match, and then you just flick through the middle one. Actually, that one just worked out perfectly, but we'll lock that one in and we'll go to the next one. See that now the two outside ones match and the middle one doesn't. So I go down one on each of them, and I just continue to do that until it does line up. There we go. Nice and simple. Carb number 3. Let's just get the two outside ones to the same place, and then down one, down one, down one. Absolutely nailed it perfectly again. If you didn't quite get that or understand that, there is a short linked up here to tune the carbs perfectly every time. There's also one linked in the description below, same video, but there's also another one in there for the ECUs, which we haven't got on this one today. So there we go. I'm now going to crack on and get the rest of this dyno. I just wanted to show you the carburetor tuning live in a video for a change, rather than making you go click on a different one. So there we go. I'll be back in a second. We'll get it dynoed, and then it's on to the racetrack. Let's get this Sakura Tiara taxi dynoed then. 158 factory horsepower from that i6. Lower than the Bolt Escapade, which started with 187. So how much have we added to the Tiara or Princess today? A gain of 129 horsepower, 82%. Not too shabby. Bearing in mind this one doesn't have an ECU giving us a lot of tuning, but we do have 3 carbs giving us 3% extra each. Not quite as much as the ECU, but it's still good nonetheless. And a drag rating of D189 compared to the D140 for the Fosades and the C240 for the Bolt Escapade. So it should fall somewhere in the middle, somewhere between a 135.469 and a 141.811 for the flying lap. We shall see. Let's have a look at the gearbox tune for today. There she is. I have fiddled with this quite a bit, so it might not be perfect, but it's around the best I'm going to do with it. It does not like first gear or pulling away from the line, so I've brought this down as low as I could get it. I probably could get it lower without ruining the rest of the speed on the run for the gearbox. So that's what we've done for the gearbox. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be all right. Obviously, you already saw me do all of the carburetors earlier, but there is a short link in the description below if you want to see how to perfectly do that every time, along with one down there for the ECU as well if you're struggling with that. So go and check them out. Both shorts, less than a minute long. Definitely worth checking out. But now, let's get the Princess onto the racetrack and see if we can beat the Fosades or the Bolt Escapade. Let's go. On the racetrack then to see which is the fastest of the taxis from the Taxi DLC. We had the Fosades with a 141.811 and its flying lap. The flying lap for the Bolt Escapade was 135.469, and this one should be somewhere in the middle, obviously depending on my driving. We're going to do a standing lap. You won't see much of that lap depending if things go wrong, if something funny happens, and then you'll see the full flying lap regardless of what happens. So let's get on with it. Come on, you beautiful Sakura Tiara. Let's do this. We can smash it. We're going to beat the Bolt Escapade with the 135. Fingers crossed, but probably not. Let's get on with it. Up towards the first corner, second gear. We're going to change gear halfway round. We certainly are. We never like that, but it happens. Can we keep it flat throughout this first S section as we go all the way through there and down through here? It does look like it. We are keeping it flat at the moment. A little bit squirmy on the exit there, but we did keep it flat all the way up through, up to the first straight, and then into the big left-hand turn. Towards the big left-hand turn, we should be able to keep fully flat throughout this, all the way in fourth gear, keeping as much speed as we possibly can, wrapping it round, full leg for the corner, kissing the apex on the exit. That is what we like to see. Now, this stretch should be our fastest part, so what speed can we get from our beautiful Princess? 190, 191, 193 I saw there. Definitely going to need a bit of brake in there and a gear down. It didn't want to auto do it for me for that one. And there we go, kicking up a little bit of dirt as we come around the final corner, keeping it flat, and down to the home stretch with a 145 for the standing lap. Not too shabby, but this flying lap is the one that counts. Can we shave 10 seconds and beat the Bolt Escapade? Probably not, especially not with my terrible driving, if we're being truly honest. It is quite hard to talk and drive at the same time. I see why phones aren't allowed to be used whilst driving a car, because it is difficult. Your concentration does lapse. But here we go, we're on a straight, so it's nice and easy. Now we're coming up to the left-hand turn. Definitely shave a bit of speed off there. It brought us down a gear automatically, and very, apart from the exit, quite nicely done on the corner there. I was about to congratulate myself on a good corner, and we messed up the exit, but never mind. Keeping it flat up into the middle straight for the big right-hander. Slightly banked. We're doing all right. What sort of speed can we get up to on here for our flying lap? Can we get 185? We can. That's the point where I'm going to slam on the brakes and go all the way down into second, give us a little bit more acceleration in that corner, and coming out just on the minute mark there and thereabouts. Not too shabby. One of the final stretches up into the big left-hand turn that we should be able to keep flat. We did on the first lap. Can we keep it flat for our flying? Cutting it a little bit wide. Nicely done on the apex, and not quite as good on the exit, but never mind. Can we beat the 194 we saw on the first lap? Come on, you beautiful Tiara. Let's do it. We can beat 194. 3. No, we can't. Oh, 194, there it was. We did hit it. That's what we like to see. Back up into fourth gear, though. Not a fan of that round this final section. I'm going to drop it into third. Shave a bit of speed on that final corner and power it down from the home stretch. And across the line, it did come in second place. I think we all saw that coming with a 139 0.326, nicely in the middle. So now it sits in the first place is the Bolt Escapade Mark IV with a 135.469. In second place is the Sakura Tiara with a 139.326. And in last place, or third place currently, is the Mercedes with a 141.811. Now let's get back to the garage, talk some facts and figures, get these three taxis onto our little comparison bit of paper, whatever you want to call that, and see if we could sell this beautiful car on for a profit, even though we're not selling it, and check out what we've got coming up next. In the words of Aerosmith, we're halfway there with our taxis to compare. Yeah, my apologies on that one. I'm so sorry. But anyway, let's talk about these cars. In the third place from comparing our taxis is the Olsen Prami Club with a 141.811. In second place was the Sakura Tiara that we just did with a 139.326. And currently in first place is the Bolt Escapade Mark IV with a 135.469. Not too shabby. But now let's talk some facts and figures about the Sakura Tiara. We bought the car for $5,460 at the beginning of the episode and could have sold it and lost out on 386 credits, but we didn't do that. We spent $10,043 upgrading the suspension and engine bay, including the exhaust and all things like that. $14,274 on the engine and the liquids, including the gearbox and the starter. For the bodywork, the interior and welding that frame was $7,888. Those massive chrome wheels and the slick tyres on there was $10,386. For our Princess private plates today was $1,700, obviously. And for the painting and finishing, it was $15,625, putting the total spend for our beautiful little Princess at $65,376. Not too shabby at all. It's there when we come to sell this one. There's some money to be made. Let's get off the B-roll. Let's have a look. There she is, all finished. Finishing her lap times, coming in second place, which isn't too bad, with obviously the Olsen Prami Club coming in third and the Bolt Escapade currently sitting at the top. But we still have the fast taxi, the old school American taxi, and the classic British taxi left to go. But for the minute, let's get back to this beautiful little Sakura Tiara and let's have a look. If we were to sell it, or when we come to sell it, is there some money to be made? There she is, all finished with her D189 drag rating. Not the best, but it is what it is. All 100% finished, and that i6 engine tuned from 158 horsepower to 286, a gain of 82%. And I will take that any day of the week. We spent $65,376 in total to get here, though. So is there some money to make when we sell it? With a sale of 142,744, there's definitely some money to be made from that one. 77,368, not too shabby at all. I'm quite pleased with that. Money-making taxis. What was the profit on the Bolt Escapade was 19 or just under 20,000, and the profit on the Olsen Prami was a little under 35,000. So far the Tiara is the second fastest, but the most profitable. But anyway, enough of this beautiful little car. Do let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And let's see what we got coming up next. Our choices are obviously the London taxi, the classic American taxi, or the film star French taxi. And I think we should go for the London taxi next. I've been holding out long enough. This is the one we're going to do next. The classic London taxi. I think this is called the Cab Roma. Yes, it is. 2 configs, obviously. One standard, if you wanted to build this as a standard car, and one taxi with the taxi sign on the roof. It's available in all the places. We got ours from the auction house, and we'll deal with the prices and the what we paid for it in the next episode. We will talk about the engine, though. The i4 2-litre double overhead cam rear-wheel drive, and this probably isn't right. I think that's a mod override, even though I don't have the mods change my engine names. Sometimes it just happens. So if that's not how it appears for you, it's because I'm running too many mods I shouldn't be running. But there we go. That's that. That's what we're going to be working on next time. I'm looking forward to it. I certainly hope you are too. So join us back here on Thursday for the beautiful Cab Roma, or classic London taxi, or black cab, I guess you could call it. But there we go. What did you think of the Sakura Tiara, our beautiful little princess today? Do let me know down in the comments. Leave a cheeky little like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. We've still got 3 taxis left to go from the taxi DLC, and obviously a few mod cars left to build. We've still got plenty of builds to do, so do keep that in mind. Don't forget as well, you can share this video if you think someone might enjoy it. That does help me out, but not as much as clicking the join button below and become a member of the VM Garage Club, where you get access to the private Discord where we can all chat and have a laugh, access to my custom configs and liveries. I still need to pick the 458 up. I'm so sorry. I will get round to it. I'll do it either later today, you don't know what day today is, or tomorrow when this video comes out. We shall see. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my channel members. I appreciate every single one of you. You are absolute legends. Thank you very much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed the configs and chatting with us, and early access to all of my videos. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a beautiful day wherever it is you're getting up to, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Like and subscribe for Virtual Mechanics.